some people's Catholic, some Protestant. I mean, I never am. It's all the same person to go to. And so I said to my assistant manager the story, and she's like, well, okay. And so we had no clue what we were expecting. And this young 22-year-old girl with bright red lipstick and her hair all she's dressed as if she was walking in. And she says, hi. And I said, hello. I said, can I help you something? She said, I'm here for my interview. And I looked at her, she said, you didn't think I looked like this, did you? And I'm like, oh my God. They really think that we're looking for someone with, like, I don't know. Yeah, or something. So it's, I agree, we have to start here. And before you can do anything else, you have to learn to have peace within your own community and accept the people. And, you know, I had this one gentleman that came in the bank. He was a young Black gentleman, sweetest guy, but he always wouldn't look at you in the eye. And so I would, you know, he had, I won't know the name,
Dreads.
dreadlocks. And anyway, and he was cute. And so I always joked with him when he came in all the time. And I said to him, I called him by name, and I said, why do you always drop your head? You don't look at people. I said, well, my parents told us that it wasn't proper that we don't look at white people. And I said, well, I don't consider me white. I said, what's white? My hair was pretty white. And he said, well, that should show respect that I'm, you know, because we're not the same class. I said, no, sir. When you walk in here, you look us in the eye. That's the problem, is you hold your head up and you have to be okay with who you are. You know, so I agree, we have to start where we're in your own community.
And also one thing that I want to add is, if we are having like a diverse country, it is super important for diverse people to hold high offices and to show up in the media. Because the fact is that media sends a message for the children that this is the superior race or this is the so yeah, I think media and government hand in hand, it can be really powerful and also it can be really dangerous because media can tell you a story in different ways. It can make you think in different ways. So it is really important for the media to actually be intentional about the message that they're sending. And also, you mentioned about the oral and the interview. The same thing happened to me. I had an interview for a radio talk show, and they reached out to me, and I said over the phone, so I'll be there. And they were expecting me to be in hijab and covering, and also to be a shy, quiet girl. So yeah, when I went there,
well, I hired my girl.
She's shy, isn't she?
That's true. And it's sad because I never came across that. Well, I wasn't that person that would ever do it. So I was shocked that she got turned down 2 jobs because of her religion.
but yeah, they originally given me like 10 minutes to talk, but when I went there, they doubled that and they told me to even talk about 20 minutes. But yeah, it was really surprising how like the perception that they have or the limited information they have about you, since they already knew that I'm from Afghanistan. So the media actually portrays a lot of Afghan women as voiceless, as incapable of fighting for their voice. And the fact is that a lot of women are fighting for their lives now, are fighting for their rights now. But I'm not sure, but a lot of media, a lot of journalists, they present themselves as the voice of women in Afghanistan, as the advocates. But the fact is that a lot of women in Afghanistan right now, they're fighting, they're risking their life with the Taliban, fighting for their rights. But the media does not show that because they want to send the message that we are the savior, we are the advocates of women in Afghanistan. But the fact is, right now we are seeing a lack of media coverage in Afghanistan. With the Iranian crisis that is happening, it seems the world focus on Ukrainian right now, but the fact is that it concerns the crisis that is happening in Afghanistan. Again, the media sets the agenda for the world, which is the most important event that you have to be focusing on. So I think the media is really powerful, and it should really be using that power to bring the peace in the world. And also, it should be working with the government as well.
So kind of hard to move now about the whole local media and how information kind of moves through it, prioritization of how many clicks you can get rather than the quality of those clicks and the information that you're sending. But you also have to balance that between having total media control in order to try to send some sort of a controlled, unified, well-polished message versus the rights of free speech. I think that's a balance we're kind of dealing with right now, arguably successfully at times and unsuccessfully at others. But yeah, the media narrative and how that plays, especially internationally, where you can have rules that govern one type of information here, another one here. It's more to think about the conclusions we can almost draw from that. We have very powerful stuff.
So to give you an example of the media, so years ago, we had neighbors from Egypt, and her mother, the woman's mother, was so upset that her daughter got married and moved to the United States because the United States was evil. The United States was wild. The United States didn't have enough food to feed the people and so forth. So after they lived here for 5 years, the mother finally talked to them coming to visit the family because now she had 2 little grandchildren. And so this woman who was in her 80s was scared out of her mind to travel to the United States and to come to New York. What did she do? She packed a suitcase full of food to bring because she thought her daughter and family were starving. Got stopped by customs. The food got confiscated. She had a heart attack, ended up in the hospital, spoke no English. My friend's husband flew up there to get her and bring her here. So she was up there for like 2.5 weeks and it was okay. And then, they brought her here. So then my friends let her meet myself and some other friends. Well, we wore mini skirts and we wore shorts and we sunbathed in our backyards like the kids in the little pools. She was really upset about her family living in the things heathens, since that's what we were, and that the media was correct in what we were. They took the entire summer to get her to come around and know that we were really good. I decided to invite her and her 2 grandsons who came with her as protection. They were like 10. And I invited them to lunch, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna serve them American food. I fixed hot dogs, and so when we sat down, and I put the food on the table, and she's going like this and talking in their language, which I didn't know, shame on me. And they told her that she's eating hot dogs, and she probably fed her dog. So then I went back to the media was right. They were right. They're giving me something, she's rapping, and she left. So it was just because before she couldn't talk, she had a notion of what we were. So it is, it's very powerful, and we gotta fix that.
That mistranslation, should we call it a ballpark Frank?
I should have.
That is a really funny story. But yeah, and also media, when it sets your mind on something, you will be acting on it, which means that you will not be thinking on your actions.
Right, I had to call her daughter, I work with your daughter at Umsel. I said, okay, don't know what just happened, I'm so sorry, your mother just left. Bye. And I don't have a bunch on the table, I can hot dogs. She goes, oh no. Did you tell her hot dogs? I said, well, yeah. And she goes, okay, and she broke up laughing and she had to call her mom. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was crazy. But it was all because of her previous notions of the bird.
To be fair, she was okay, if it's not a dog, what's in this? What would you answer?
Yeah.
Maybe ballpark Frank was came into that. Questions or comments?
No, I think I wanted some add on that because I think I've always thought. I like this conversation because I've always thought media will always give you the negative side of life. I mean, I don't know if that's how we're rated them. The negative, I think it's normal human being that negative news spreads so fast. And people wanna kind of conceive to, I mean, you just get attention to read and listen. So many people, there's gunfire, people killing each other, people doing those negative things. And I think for the media, that's what they want to drive the traffic. So I've always said that I have to change my perception and think I know. If I want to know something, then positive, then I'm not going to be able to get it in the media. I have to find a different avenue to get the right information that I want to feed into my mind. And like many people have mentioned that because of that constant information that we get, and if it is there are 5 information you're getting, you only get the negative information. If it's a particular country, like now we're talking about Ukraine, talking about Russia. And I like what you say, because when you have that mindset of what's happening in the media, the moment you interact with Russia, the person that comes to show and about it, and you have a very negative about that person. So this person has to prove to himself that I'm not what you saw, I'm not me, I am a different person, and this is who I am. So they have to walk you through to take them from where you are to where it is. And in that perspective, then you have to find a way, what are the sources of information? What are you, how are you getting, feeding information to know and educate yourself? Because the media will not allow people to be there to make them able to share the good stories. Because if we all now find a different source of information, then they will have to find a way to get our attention, because we have actually diverted our sources of information. Now we're not getting so excited to share. When we see something out, that's what we share it with people. And what I do for myself, even on my social media, I look for those good stories. Somebody did good thing, I want to blast it out. Something good, I want to blast it out. Because I think when it's either you're going to get bored watching my social media, or you're going to be part of my story. And through that, we can share. My wife is over there. And I told her one time, we're going to go to interfaith meeting. And it's a meeting that they bring up. I had somebody mention about that. People go there and they have different speakers and people speak. So, and I told her, we're going to go there and I want you to take me there. We will have a great conversation. It was actually at St. John Convention Center, like 400 people. But the guest speaker was a Muslim. And I knew if I told her the Muslim, then she might have a different understanding what it is. So I told her, I just go there and get with businesses and all stuff. And then the guys stood up and give it someone. And by the time we leave, she's like, I have never had such a great someone that ever in my life that came from a Muslim. And I can tell from that kind of perception for her about what she had heard and what I thought about it is different. So if she didn't listen to that part and listen to the question of talking in the mission, he quoted so many Quran that when you look at it, that's what life is, that's what we're supposed to be living. But we have all this perception that because it's a Muslim, it's all about war. Because what we never see the people who are fighting.
Hey, how you doing? Great. How have you been?
But the only people putting the wrong stuff.
Yeah,
So when we have
I
to
knew
go
that there's a place that
go from
leaks. I don't know.
what
Well, now you see,
when you look at it at different
these are leaks.
source.
So
I think our
I was
perception
like,
of life and our perception
probably it
of
should be
different
somewhere from outside because it's not along this. It is not on the door.
Because the media will not. It's not
But it had so many leaks.
I think
But
there's always, you could have telling the negative part, then you have to find the source of the positive side of the story. And then because we are always, I believe that what we hear and we hear over and over and over, you don't believe that. But then you kind of carry with that and you kind of vibrate. Because that's what it is. That's what you feel is. By changing that narrative, then you have to find a way. Then because you have to feed yourself with positive stories. And those positive stories is not coming from me. I mean, I don't know, but that's how I see it.
It gets pretty fundamental, you know, they always talk about what is time, and you start looking at time, and I think the most fundamental thing that we come up with right now is that it's a measurement of the change in entropy of the universe, which is a move more towards chaos. You know, nature itself kind of, by default, goes to chaos, so that comes back to being intentional. You know, life is very intentional, this is not accidental. So it's kind of like to get that next level of consciousness, it can't be an accident, it has to be intentional. So I gotta stay focused to do it right. All right, Routine, you wanted to talk about peace, now's your chance.
Well, I'm excited about Julie, our incoming governor, because
Yes, I did. Are you sure you did that? Yes, I did. Yes, I'm sure. And he comes and he tells me.
and that would be my focus. Reach out to people in their community and maybe have these kind of dialogues. I think this has been fantastic. And like Jeffrey, this guy RA, who was originally going to be on our panel, RA Openstack, he's from Cameroon, he runs the International Institute. He couldn't make it tonight, but he has a huge network of people that he knows. Jeffrey has a huge network, and Fahima, she says we ran this at Webster University. We have 500 students there. But I'm going to challenge her to do a big event with all these international students and get young people to interact with Rotaracts and maybe do a big event down at the Webster University. If she can do it, toughy. My dream, and I've been thinking about this a lot, is how did America get established? How did the Constitution of the United States get established? We had the Articles of Confederation. It didn't work. We were having the Shays Rebellion in Massachusetts. There was all kinds of problems, and then the Europeans and the nobility were laughing at us. So those Americans, they want free, they'll never be able to do it. So what happened is all the colonies sent representatives to Philadelphia, Independence Hall, and with the idea that we're going to sit together in this place and figure out a way to figure out a system that America can live under and preserve liberty and freedom. And as you probably know the history, that was 1787. Our founding fathers met for 5 months and created the Constitution. But they didn't leave until they finished the Constitution and then signed it, which was December 17, 1787. So my proposal is you get all the world leaders together, the leaders, not their surrogates, not people in Washington, people in UN. You get the Putin, Xi Jinping from China. You bring the leaders together, Biden and the others, Macron, Boris Johnson from England, and you get them together, maybe in Camp David, I don't know where it would be. And the understanding is you're not going to leave here. If it takes 3 months, 6 months, a year, you're not going to leave here until you can come out of here with a solution that will create world peace. The UN was the attempt at World War II. The problem with the UN, because I did a lot of research on that, is you have the Security Council and you have the permanent members. The 5 permanent members, Russia, China, Great Britain, France, and the United States. If any one of them veto a resolution, it doesn't happen. And that doesn't work. Learn that with our Articles of Confederation, unanimous, all colonies vote. Never happened. You're not going to get unanimous. So what has to happen to me is, if it's going to be through the UN, and a lot of people like to talk to the UN is viable, I don't know. That's the only really international organization in New York City. What I'd love to have out of this is suggestions we can bring to the Antonio Guterres, who's the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I'm happy to fly with a bunch of people to New York City, to the General Assembly, and present a series of suggested programs that can be done. What came out of this meeting to me mostly is meeting people and getting to know them, and forming, making bridges to other people. We need to create situations where people of disparate backgrounds, like they're doing at Webster with all these international students, or these African, whatever they are, get people to get to know each other and spend time together, become friends, share meals together. I remember in Africa, it was funny because a lot of places I went, they'd never seen a white man, ever. Because I went through all kinds of bush areas in Africa. And what was funny, I mean, some of my African friends can relate to this. I didn't know this at the time, but a lot of the African, this was in, I won't tell you what country, but the parents told the white man comes, he's dangerous, white man. So when I came, they screamed running away from me, thinking, because they never seen a white man. He said, the white man will get you if you misbehave. So it took me a while to sit there, and all the kids would run around and the adults, and we'd have drinks and have food. The Africans know that's what they do in Africa. Everything is social, extended family. And that's one thing I love about Africa. We have a lot to learn from other countries. It's another thing. I know what we talked about, Jeff and I talked about it, is more intercultural studies in schools. Maybe starting at colleges. I don't know what they do at Webster, but I think that would be a good idea. But I think the Rotary could be a key player, because Rotaries in over 200 countries. So if we can do it in our district here in Missouri, 60-60, we could be model that other Rotary districts could follow. Now, too bad that the Rotary International Convention is Houston in June. And the first time, what, 2 years or so, they've had a live one? Because of COVID, they're leaving, how many, 20,000 people, do you think? Probably 30? There are people from every country on the planet. It's going to be in Houston in June. I've been talking with Rotary International to give you an idea of what I've been doing. And I was saying to John Huco, who's the General Secretary of Rotary, get Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General, to come up to talk about world peace. He's the head of the General Assembly. You know, maybe whatever came out of this meeting, we could bring to the General Assembly as a suggestion. We don't have anything concrete, but you've got to think, like I said, the big picture. The thing I think we can do in America is just, how much do we spend on defense in America? You know what the budget is? Almost $800 billion. It's almost 800 billion. $800 billion. That's on defense. How much do we spend on peace in this country? Yeah, almost nothing. So why don't we have a peace department as part of the president's cabinet? We have a defense department, we have all these federal agencies. Why not a peace department focusing all their efforts on world peace? And maybe put $1 billion. Take $1 billion from defense. I believe in defense. We see that with Russia. But why not take some major dollars and bring in young people like what we have in this meeting? Peace Corps volunteers, there's 250,000 of us. We've served in over 100 countries. What a tremendous resource. We have our Returns Resource Association. We could reach out to virtually every returns resource volunteer in this country. And they could be a conduit to help reach out. Like I can go to Cameroon and speak pidgin English or French to the President Biya, or I can go to speak Swahili a little bit to the President in Kenya, and bring in some of the Kenyans and bring in some. It just takes a will. It takes a will to make it happen. I think a lot of it is what we're talking about is grassroots. I'll give you a story. My wife knows this. We're both runners, and there's a big race in Boulder, Colorado every year called Boulder. It's a 10K race. About 50,000 people participate, but they have elite runners race. So elite runners teams from all over the world come and run in this race. So I went all to all the Africans, and I said to them, look, the Americans are not going to come talk to you because they're intimidated because you're a world-class runner. You're the top runners in the world. You got to go and talk to them. And I went to the white people at the meeting. She'll tell you, they have a spaghetti dinner. I said, you got to start talking to each other. We have Ecuadorians here. We have Mexicans here. These are elite runners. And I'm just an average recreational runner. And I started to take runners because they're shy. As the lady said back there. We're shy. Africans said that he's not. A lot of Africans are very shy. So I said to the runners, look, and she was there, I think. And then once I got the Africans, because they all sat together at a table, all the different people sat together at a table. We got to stop that. We got to stop sitting with the people that we know and reach out to others. My wife knows I traveled extensively around the world when I was younger. And my one experience, I traveled extensively around the world here. Many of you. Your experience probably is like mine. It's a wonderful world. People are fantastic. Everywhere I went, when you told you're American, they wanted to sit with you. They wanted to give you food and drink and talk to you. I never had a problem. I traveled alone for years around the world. Alone. Most people don't do that. But when you travel alone, it's very different when you're traveling with somebody else. Like now, my wife and I travel all the time. But she'll tell you, I reach out. One thing that we've been doing, which I recommend joining Rotary, she knows this. We spent 3 weeks in Denmark because her father's in Denmark. And I contacted every Rotary club in Denmark and said, we're coming to Denmark, your father's from Denmark. Could you host us for 2 nights? Could you put us up for 2 nights? And we spent 3 weeks traveling to Denmark. It's the most fantastic thing. We did the same when we went to Hawaii. We did the same thing when we went to New Zealand. It's a family, like you were saying, it's a big family. So if a bunch of us were Rotarians traveling, seeing Rotarians around the world, my wife will tell you, we learn more seeing the Rotarians than anything, because they have programs and we listen to what's going on in the community. That's where you learn a lot. And I was a Lions member for 18 years. I was an Optimist member for 15 years. I'm also a Colonian right now, and the Colonians don't like that I'm also a Rotarian. But it's crazy. We're all in this together, aren't we? So why not encourage the UN or, I don't know if you've been to Washington. How many have been to Washington, D.C.? Most of them. I don't know if you know this, embassy row. All the embassies are in one area of Washington. It's really easy for Tony Blinken and Joe Biden. Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, and then Joe Biden, the President, to go to these embassies and say, look, let's get together, bring in people like Jesus Ward, people like us, and have a dialogue about how we can all get along. I recommended that when Trump was president. I recommended it when Obama was president. Do you think anyone will pay attention? Well, when I talked to Governor Holden earlier today, we had about a 45-minute conversation. He said he's going to help us connect up with his network. He knows Madeleine Albright. He knows Condoleezza Rice. You know who these people are. Mike Pompeo. These are former secretaries of state. We have to get people of goodwill that believe that it's possible But I think Rotary is key, because Rotary, it's one of our focus for world peace. That's one of our focus areas. So, that's my 2 cents. I can go on. I believe the time is now. The time is now. We have proliferation of nuclear weapons. I was a physicist. That's what I taught in Africa, physics. We don't want to have a nuclear war. We saw with COVID, you don't want to have pathogens out there. You don't want chemical weapons. We have the capacity to destroy this planet. Not just human beings, but all life on this planet. Do we want to do that? I don't know if anyone that wants to do it. The only way to stop it is to get together with everybody, like the women in Afghanistan. I feel her pain and her pain of the women in Afghanistan under the Taliban. I don't know what they're fighting. I know that. I hope they win, because what the Dalai Lama, I'll leave you with this. I read the book of the Dalai Lama, and what he recommended, which I talked to Dr. Holden earlier today, he thought it was a good idea. If women ran every country on the planet, we wouldn't have a war. Their sons, their husband, their brother, father war. And ask, what's the name of the president for Liberia, the woman president? Ellen Shirley? She was the first freely elected woman president in Africa, Liberia. And she went into Liberia. I don't know if you know much about Liberia. There was Charles Taylor, they had all kinds of gangs. It was a civil war. Hundreds of thousands of people were slaughtered. She was elected to turn that country around, just like Nelson Mandela did South Africa. And they had reconciliation. So it's possible. As you said, it's not easy. If it was easy, it would be there. But nothing worth doing is easy. It's nothing. Look at just the people in here. How many believe it's possible? Most of us. How many people don't think it's possible? See, I haven't changed your mind. I knew that. All right, enough said. Any questions or thoughts? Come on. There he is. Dan's got the mic. Go on.
Andrew. Or ideological. No, I've been on the side that says it can happen. I just give you my couple examples.
Please do.
Well, okay, so at the end of the Trump administration, David, remember, Israel was signing agreements, the Abraham Convention with 5 Arab nations. What's happened to that? They were expecting all Arab nations to eventually be able to sign those accords. What happened? How did it stop? What changed? And administration changed. Not to say one's better or worse than the other. It's just that every 4 years, or at least every 8 years, just this country alone, we changed total administration, total ideology, and what was begun in one might end in the next. So that's just one thing. And I love your idea about bringing all the nation leaders to Camp David. What a security nightmare that'd be. But assuming you did, I don't believe that Vladimir Putin would take any criticism from the rest of the 200 plus nations, or that he would agree to get out of Ukraine. They said, you got to get out of Ukraine. There are too many despots, authoritarians, dictators in this world who will not think of anything other than themselves and their power. They will not think of their fellow man, how they can improve their nation. And so I pose the question to you. How, in the next 50 years, do we achieve world peace?
Anyone else? I don't want to dominate this. Go Dave, Dr. Dave, come on. I want to hear about the Jewish Arab situation too.
How do we have a world we can't all get along with the country? If you're a Republican and a Democrat, you can't even get along. You can't even really have a conversation between Republicans and Democrats. So that's a major issue, is that we need to meet as humans, not as a Republican or a Democrat, or liberal or conservative, that's what we do. And we're never gonna have world peace unless we can do that, you know, as Americans.
So Andy, David agrees with me.
You're holding. There you go.
Okay, great. One thing that I want to say that politics is becoming a competition or a zero-sum game, that if you win, I will lose. So I think if we lose that mentality that if one country achieves something, then it doesn't mean that we lost something. So I think the zero-sum mentality we're thinking it is just destroying the world right now. And also, again, I love the idea that we need to change a lot of country leaders to a lot of women. Because again, I feel like a lot of men have this mentality of competing with other men. So I think, and again, women are more empathetic. They think about how one thing makes you feel, or how one thing kind of makes you feel, or how something kind of endanger you. So I think a lot of women can be a really good fit in these leadership positions because they not only think about winning side, but they also think about how it makes you feel, how as a human they should treat you. So I would love that idea. So yeah, losing that mentality of zero-sum game and also having more women or more leadership positions.
It goes back to your question, your comments about the policy, you know, when I'm interviewing someone for a position, I'm not allowed to make any sort of a consideration about their gender. So how can we hold that while also acknowledging that there are differences in the genders? And if we, you know, apply this here, how do you create that coherence with that? And so I think there's a lot to unpack there. You know, it's the empathy of my mother is the only reason why I'm able to do the things that I do with our business. You know, and to be able to recognize that and celebrate that is good, but then you also have to have policies that allow and enable at the same time.
Yeah, I think like the Million Man March, that, what was his name, he must anyway, years ago, remember the Million Man March they had in Washington? They just had the women march too, but the Million Man March, I think I was a brother, I think that's, we need to get, the breakdown of the family, I think is a big issue in our country. I mean, you don't have a father, I think fathers are really critical. I mean, I was a big brother to this little boy, Daniel. Boy, did he ever latch on to me as a little kid. I just loved him. I had a great time together. Particularly boys, they need role models of men that are not violent or angry, but are kind and loving and compassionate and empathetic. Because there are some of them like that. I don't want them. And my wife,
Not that I'm an authority, but I think the thing we're missing out on is respect. And that's what's missing in our country is we all like ice cream. You like chocolate, I like milk. But our goal is we all like ice cream. So we all want peace. And what do? We have to respect each other's feelings and how to get there, come together as a group, all go for ice cream, go for peace. But we respect each other's way to do it, and that starts at home. And just as you said, we need families that teach it. If we don't have families that teach it, our teachers can teach it. And what happens? Our kids learn by examples. And if there's not respect at home, I think one big thing I notice is, remember when we grew up, we used to say, Mrs. Brown, right? Now we say Linda. The kids say Linda. They don't say Mrs. Brown. And to me, that's a feeling of respect. You have older people, and they're supposed to know what you do, but anyway, it all goes back. I also say, we've got to slay rules, we've got to commandments. And I'm not saying religion, look at religion now, okay? If we follow the 10 commandments, and if we add at the very bottom respect, we got it. It's easy, done.
That's not a definition problem, that's an execution problem.
okay, it has to start with the kids, the young people. And I think that a lot of the schools, I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and I'm there's teachers, they've taken the teacher's voice away from them. And they're limiting how much they can talk about things. And there's also, I'm seeing in a lot of my grandchildren and even my own daughter, I love her dearly, she wants to not let the kid know certain things. And I understand that there is a time, but they have to be exposed to things. They have to understand the difference of things. They have to be exposed to someone with disabilities. They have to learn how to interact. They have to learn how to interact to another country, someone of a different color than them, or they speak a different language, or anything of that sort. And I think that schools, we need, if we have so many people, we have all these countries in Rotary, we need to start a program that different countries, once a week, would interact with kids in their classroom. We've got website, we've got Zoom, we've got all that. And we need to do that. We need to interact, and we have to help with something. And we need to have them get to know another country, students from another country.
We have a robust youth exchange.
Exactly, but they
We have the
can't,
foundation.
you know, but they need to have that interaction. Being a banker and in finance, my daughter's a teacher. I get invited to her math class by Zoom once a month to talk about finance with them. And the kids are very excited. They raise their hand, they want to know. And they look up definite words about banking and finance. They ask me to explain it to them. I have to look it up sometimes, but they're interested. So if we can have that, because some of the children live in an area, they don't interact with other people. Or their parents won't let them interact with another section of town, right? Or different people that are different. So that's just my opinion. It's gotta be used.
Thank you so much.
This is a good news, I mean, a good, the problem is we don't all think alike.
I know.
So
The
we have-
opportunity is,
We have a
we don't
class
think alike.
and everyone has their different opinions. So you can't go to a classroom and say, okay, we're gonna all get along here, we're all gonna think this way. Because we don't all think that way. So that's when you come into all the problems. But again, if you go back to the main menu, I don't care how you think, we want a peaceful classroom. So let's negotiate. Let's see what we got to do in order to make Sally happy and you know, him happy and everything. And forget about where you're going to come and what you're doing. Let's make peace in this classroom.
We'll do pizza today and see you tomorrow and donuts a little bit.
Yeah, I like the conversation because actually, what's your name?
I'm Linda.
Linda, I really loved your explanation because my kids go to school for too long, and they're right there. Yeah. So I hope this was this conversation, right? We're trying to find a way to build it. I've always wanted to. I've been to a couple of schools in other school districts, and they do what's called Festival of Nations, Diversity Night, Multicultural Night, and I love it because actually that's where I get to share more about our African culture and share with people. And you can tell the dust you have to learn about African culture. And they have, I think the last one we went was at Rockwood. We had like 500 people show up. Families, kids, everybody in the neighborhood that comes to actually whole district day. And we've done in Hazelwood. Hazelwood, it has become a tradition now. January, the last that is January. They have all these kids. We bring foods, sample different food from different nationalities. And we've seen the kids from those different nationalities coming out dressed up and talking about their culture. We have a lot of, like you say, a lot of diversity coming this side. And the first time when we were called, we went to a diversity night. It was Zoom. We were like 5 and a few. So it was that was a diversity night. And after 2 years, we were called again, we increased to around 10. And I felt like, I think this is not enough. So we were talking with him, and I told him, I would want to have a better way where we're able to bring different this different culture, different environment, where people are able to talk and share, understand. People need to understand this. When you talk about kids now, I don't know the best time to introduce. I mean, the best time to introduce the kids about different culture is actually at that early age. I've been to Hazelwood, the school there, and because of some of the things that are altered to my kids, and I did bring the kids, but I feel like in the environment where they're being, I think they've had comments and statements that they bring to school. And I think until we are able to bring some of those conversations and events and activities to the school, we're not only teaching the kids, but also the parents and the teachers and their parents. Because when they come in there, they learn something, and now they're sensitive for the comments they make at home. Because those comments, the negative comments that stay in front of the kids, they bring to school. And I have to take care of my kids when they come home because she's so stressed out. She doesn't want to go to school because of this. And she can't change because she doesn't have a platform to express herself. So I think what Linda said, if there is anybody who in this audience want to be part of this, I want to lead and to champion where we will be able to have a diversity night. But culturally, for Zumos for district, and now the extension all the way to, we actually did one at Webster. And I drove a whole team from Hazelwood, that I was from Hazelwood, went to Westfield. We did a big display. She does sell a lot of artworks from Africa. And we took all the bunch of them. Last week we went out to Jonesboro. We had a big display and it's talking about different cultures. Because I think people are able to be exposed to that conversation where now they can ask, always ask me the questions that you have, however negative it is. It's my job to help you understand, and learn the things that you have learned, the negative that you have learned, and then get you to understand this is how life is, this is how I interact with them, this is how different culture is. Because like I say, we all come with all these stereotypes. And most of the time, I think by human nature, we're exposed to think negative. You have to be intentional, think positive. You have to make effort to be able to think positive or even to appreciate somebody in a positive way. Because the first thing that comes in, even people say when you're learning a different language, a foreign language, the easiest language to learn is the bad language. Bad words, negative thoughts.
Yes.
Those are the things that learn. Even the kid when he's born, the first word they need to know, they learn is no. They don't start with yes, they start with no. And I think that is where I'm saying is, for this for us to change things, and I back to Dave of the idea of how it is hard to change to bring the world. You can't eat an elephant just as a whole. You start with the small piece. Piece by piece, piece by piece, and then eventually we will finish it. With elephant. I think we have it's impossible when we look at the world piece as a whole, as me trying to change the world piece as an individual, or any changing the world, bringing the world piece. But how about we start the few people that we interact with? You're in your neighborhood, your neighbor, past next to you, or whenever you are, you're going to church, you're coming out of church, you have to connect somebody that you really know. If you're checking out at the grocery store and you meet somebody, is there a comment that you're able to give me that person that make you feel like I belong to St. Peter's? I feel welcome. This is St. Peter's. And I think if you build those conversations slowly by slowly, through the fear of influence, I believe world peace is possible.
That's the song. I know you have more comments, but I never get into the 5 minutes going more over time. Something with respect to Daniel, but you can wrap it up.
Thank you. We'll let you ask those questions at the next.
I just have one.
Okay, one comment, Dave.
So we can have world peace, and it just comes down to the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair?
Judge all concerned. Will it be built better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all of us? We didn't even get into that tonight. Thank you, Dave. Great. All right, first of all, let's give our moderator again, John, another thank you. You're wonderful. And let's thank our panelists, Genevieve, Andrew. It's great to have you. Now, I know probably most of you are Rotarians, but you guessed it here tonight. We always offer a free lunch card on one of our Rotary meetings. We meet every Thursday at the Moose Lodge in St. Charles. And usually the groups are bigger as far as non-Rotarians. I can say you can all come to the same lunch. Normally we can't do that. We can't have everybody come at once. But we'd love for anybody here who's not a Rotarian to come and experience Rotary, join us for the free lunch. We always have a speaker, and it's always an interesting meeting. Real quickly, just some thoughts. As I was sitting here and listening to everybody, I wrote down a few things. Peace is a concept. I don't really think now that it's a thing as much as it's people, right, Andy? It's people, Ema, right, Jeffrey? People that have to start the peace process. Not a thing, not government. And a few things that I took notes on. Peace among people first, and items which promote or impede peace. Creating friendships, connecting, sharing experiences, knowledge, familiarity, being intentional, government, enhancing the mixing people, perceptions of people. Do Russians hate Americans? No. They love us. Sweatshirts and hats, right? Okay. Americans hate Chinese. But we know the Russians don't hate us. We don't hate the Russians. We don't hate Chinese. But then how do we get together? That's the real question. That's the key. And then media bias. I don't think the media ever helps us in our quest for peace. There is much a division as any other item or entity. So with that, I want to thank all of you for attending tonight. I really appreciate your attendance. And I promise you, as president of this club, that before my term is over in June, we'll have another forum, a bigger forum, more people, and we hope that you all keep your eyes open for announcements from the St. Charles Noonday Rotary Club. Thank you so much for being here. Come get the free lunch cards. Be safe on your way home. Thank you for being here tonight. All your Rotarians, thank you all. Thank you, dear. Do a big one at Webster, huh?